From rags to riches, the realities of poverty in America. The LACE is producing the Talking About Poverty series, which consists of 5 parts. We will use the excellent series Busted America's Poverty Myths from WLIC's on the media as our guide through this process. At this point, we will even examine some fundamental reasoning. Continue to be with us. Don't forget to like this video and give us thumbs up so we can keep uploading videos with consistency. Our focus is on the myth of upward mobility, which asserts that every individual possesses an equal opportunity to triumph over any obstacle and rise from poverty to prosperity. This myth is often considered to be the most significant myth in American society. This narrative originates from Benjamin Franklin, a founding father who grew up in a poor family. Young Franklin served as his brother's apprentice before founding his own printing firm in Philadelphia. This was before Franklin traveled to Philadelphia. He begins to produce the majority of the paper that is used in the colonies. In the past, people used to produce paper from rags, which they traded and acquired. When Franklin ultimately attains the ability to print paper money, he goes through a true metamorphosis from a poor person to a wealthy one. In his autobiography, Benjamin Franklin tells the tale of his own rise from poverty to fortune, which serves as a source of motivation for young men in the United States. Within the context of his story, he does not reveal any support that he received along the way. On the contrary, he promotes the concept of the man who made himself. His biography notably excluded Jane, Franklin's clever sister, who supported several family members despite living in poverty and caring for Franklin's own ill and destitute parents. Jane was a wealthy and intelligent woman. Ben receives a letter from Jane that reads, "An accident of birth squanders much too much potential." Our goal is to underline that our historical record largely depicts the stories of successful people rather than those of unsuccessful individuals in order to prevent making bright people appear less than they actually are. The sheer number of stories juxtaposing the lives of self-made men, I intentionally use the term men with those living in poverty and misery, gives us the impression that the journey from poverty to riches is a common experience in America. This is due to the contrast between the two types of lives. Tales of the hunt will always glorify the hunter until lions have their own historians is a saying from Africa that effectively depicts this dynamic. Unlike other people, Ben Franklin was an outlier. He was unusual because it gives the impression that the playing field is already equal. Our myth about the possibility of upward mobility has the unintended consequence of deterring us from making an effort to level the playing field for everyone. Everyone is given the same opportunity. The only thing that is necessary is to put in a lot of effort. Achieving financial success will come effortlessly. We mistakenly conclude, as discussed in Talking About Poverty Part 2, that a person's failure to achieve financial success implies a lack of effort. The next step in the logical argument is as follows. And if P, then Q. A is not Q, therefore, not P. This kind of argument is known as a modus-tollens argument in the field of logic, and there are a great many more. An argument is considered valid so long as the premise, also known as the starting statement, is accurate. Next, let's insert the terms that will govern our argument. If they put forth sufficient effort, people who are economically disadvantaged can achieve financial success. Some people who were born into poverty never achieved financial success. As a result of this, their efforts were insufficient. In spite of the fact that it makes a lot of sense, it is incorrect in this particular situation because the assumption that any poor person who works very hard will achieve financial success is not accurate. The vast majority of individuals who are living in poverty put forth a lot of work, yet they never achieve financial success. If the premise turns out to be incorrect, it calls into question the validity of the conclusion. Horatio Alger, following in Franklin's footsteps, would refine the narrative even further. His stories of rising from poverty to wealth gave the impression that anybody could become a captain of industry by virtue of their actions and the amount of effort they put in, even if Alger did not mention females or office girls. The dilemma that comes from this line of reasoning is as follows. Any impoverished person who works hard enough and is morally upright enough will succeed financially. Given this, it is possible for us to erroneously feel that someone who is poor is either not deserving of our compassion or is not working hard enough. If someone were to say, if any poor person works hard enough, is virtuous enough, is talented enough, and is intelligent enough, you can only imagine how twisted the argument would become. When we are armed with this line of reasoning, we can incorrectly excuse any individual's poverty. Having gone through that rational conversation, are you still present? Okay, let's go. In what ways does the American dream actually exist? Out of all the presidents that we have heard about, every single one of them is someone who achieves success through a combination of hard work and tenacity. My whole life really has been a no, and I fought through it, Donald Trump said during a town hall meeting in October. I fought through it. I have to confess that I have not discovered it to be an easy task. You are well aware of the fact that I was born and raised in Brooklyn. My father provided me with a small loan of $1 million. According to the research findings, 95% of people in the United States who are born into poverty, such as Jane Franklin, Ben Franklin's sister, are not likely to achieve the top quintile, which equals the top 20% of income. The middle class isn't a very mobile demographic. The United States of America, in reality, has a lower rate of upward mobility compared to the bulk of European nations. In fact, the possibility of the American dream occurring in Canada is twice as high. What inhibits the growth of the United States of America? The location of a person's birth has a significant impact, according to research findings. Perhaps that is your name too. Simply put, your name is correct. The National Bureau of Economic Research, NBER, conducted a well-known study in 2003 in which researchers responded to advertisements for help wanted by submitting resumes with names that were either historically black or traditionally white, such as Jamal or Greg, respectively. It is remarkable that there was a 50% rise in the number of callbacks for resumes that had white names. When a black CV included the phrase white name, it actually indicated 8 extra years of experience. According to the findings of a similar study, whites with criminal records were more likely to obtain callbacks than blacks with clean criminal histories. Martin Luther King Jr. made the following statement in 1968. "It is okay to tell a man to pull himself up by his own bootstraps on his own. On the other hand, telling a man who is not wearing shoes that he must pull himself up by his own bootstraps is cruel." It is obvious that talent, perseverance, and ingenuity are all essential components of success. Nonetheless, it is essential that we recognize that these factors do not guarantee achievement. Logic requires that one must have talent and put in a lot of effort, but that they are not enough. Hard work is a reality, despite the fact that upward mobility and bootstrapping are both falsehoods. If we as a community do not make the decision to construct ladders that will aid people in climbing out of poverty, there is a very small chance that people will be able to escape poverty. In order to assist individuals in climbing out of poverty, the PLAC organization constructs ladders. As part of our comprehensive strategy, we provide housing, transportation, food, energy, employment, healthcare, education, and access to the arts and creative expression, all of which contribute to an improved quality of life and inspire individuals. The implementation of our plan has been successful in providing individuals with the opportunity to lift themselves out of poverty and even begin saving for their futures and their children's education. In this 4th installment of our series, talking about poverty, we will explore the idea that our society provides safety nets to protect individuals from falling. With all of our hearts, we hope that you will continue to send us your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.